Today on Upfront, 2018 will be a big election year in Wisconsin. Voters will choose a governor, a U.S. senator, and a new state Supreme Court justice. So what does the coming year hold for Wisconsin politics? Joining us for insight and analysis are J.R. Ross of WisPolitics.com, Jesse Aupoint of the Capital Times, and Kent Wainscott of WISN 12 News.
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Upfront with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Upfront. Wisconsin politics is never dull, and that is likely to be truer than ever in the year ahead. 2018 will be a big election year, the midterm election, with a number of key races on the ballot: governor, U.S. Senate, and state Supreme Court, to name just a few. We're still 11 months away from the November election, but some of these contests are already making headlines. And in the case of the state Supreme Court race, primary voting is just a few weeks away. We're looking at the 2018 election cycle today with a panel of political reporters: J.R. Ross from our editorial partner, WisPolitics.com, Jesse Aupoint of the Capital Times, and Kent Wainscott of WISN 12 News. Thanks to the three of you for being with us on New Year's Eve.
Anytime.
I hope you have bigger plans than this as the day goes on.
Does it get bigger than this?
J.R., let me begin with you and ask about the Democratic field in the governor's race. You've got more than a dozen candidates talking about running. Does the field get bigger yet, or does it shrink?
I think we're going to figure that out after the January finance reports are due. So you have to report on your basic fundraising effort between July 1st and December 31st in about 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. That will tell us who's viable financially. And what I've been told by people who watch is anybody breaking away from the pack and really showing that he or she's the strongest fundraiser? So if they're not, if you're someone who can write a personal check for $2, $3, $4, $5 million, you can become viable overnight in that race. Likewise, if you can't self-finance, you might go, well, nobody's really breaking away. I can do this. I can get in that race and have a shot because I've got 6 months now to catch them by the July fundraising reports. So maybe I get in. Not me personally, by the way.
Why not? Everybody else is in. Your paper, Jesse, said Paul Soglin might be the next to get in, the Madison mayor.
Sounds like it, yeah. You know, that would make things fun. He's certainly been acting like it for a few months. He's been having a lot of press conferences about things that are not really necessarily strictly Madison issues, but it doesn't really get more traditional Wisconsin Democrat Madison liberal than Paul Soglin, so it'll shake things up a little bit. Sounds like he's pretty much a yes, barring anything dramatic.
Do Democrats think this large field of candidates is a good thing, or is it sort of hard for voters to get a handle on?
Well, they'll certainly tell you that they think it's a good thing. It makes things interesting. It makes it very easy to win that primary without a whole heck of a lot of support. 20-30%, you can outshine everyone else in the pack. It certainly is encouraging a lot of people who are thinking about it to get involved, but I think you hear some complaints that some of the people that people had originally hoped would run are staying out, and maybe it's second tier kind of large swath of people to choose from.
Ken, let's talk about Governor Walker for a moment. How does his campaign view this race? They're going to talk about the economy. They are talking about the economy, taxes, his recent budget in terms of education. Those are things they're going to hit on. But are they concerned that it is 2018, it is a midterm election, and it's sort of a quirky electorate right now? How much does that concern them?
Yeah, it's certainly a different vibe than he's faced before in a campaign. I think they're going to look at it certainly with a little bit more concern maybe than they've had in the past, but I think they probably don't want to mess with success. I mean, he has had a very strong track record. He goes in with maybe more vulnerability than he's had in the past, but vulnerability isn't enough, perhaps, for the Democrats. They still have to have a viable opponent, a viable option for voters, and it remains to be seen which, if any, of these candidates is going to sort of light the fire under the electorate to challenge him.
It is challenging. We were talking before the show began about how you even do a debate with this many candidates. You've seen a couple of these forums, and they have a dozen candidates there, and they get a minute to talk about something, and we're pretty much done. It does present some logistical problems.
So I get the impression that if you look kind of forward from the January reports, we'll get an idea of like who's viable. Come July, we'll have a second round report, see who's really there. But people talk mostly about Andy Gronick, Milwaukee businessman, Tony Evers, state superintendent, Dana Walks, woman from Eau Claire, Matt Flynn, Kathleen Vinyl. There's this kind of sifting of where's the top tier and where's the second tier. If you look at most of the field, they're 58 or older and Caucasian. Malin Mitchell's a guy who's much younger than that, who's got union backing, head of the statewide firefighters union. By the way, that's Scott Walker's wheelhouse, right? Fighting public employee unions. Kello Roy's is, 40-ish lawmaker, former lawmaker for Madison. I mean, there are some contrasts that you could see that they could maybe have a lane, but there are only so many lanes in a race on a track, right? So who's going to grab the progressive mantle? Who's going to be this one? And Paul Soglin, no offense to him, but he's an older, long-time politician. By the way, in Madison, politics is a blood sport. So people think about, Dane County is going to be like his
not necessarily
sweet spot. But he's made as many people angry as he's enamored with him over a 40-year career. So that could be a hindrance for him.
I mentioned some of the issues that are likely to be talked about, but Democrats are making it very clear, Jesse, that they're going to talk about Foxconn. They think that's a winning issue for them. How hard do they want to press that? I mean, it's about job creation. It is about the possibility of thousands of jobs. How hard will they press that issue?
It sounds like they're going to press it really hard. I think it really depends a lot on what has happened at the point where this really becomes an issue that they can throw against Scott Walker. I mean, are there shovels on the ground? Are there actually jobs, on the payroll? Can you show some real progress? And if you can't, then maybe they can press it. But it's certainly hard to argue with actual jobs, actual construction being done. The question I think that remains to be seen is we know it's really popular in the immediate area, but what does the rest of the state think about it?
You get in the northern third of the state, yeah. Kent, what do you think about Foxconn as an important issue, or perhaps not so important?
I think it's going to be one of the top issues in the race, but I think it's so early in the process. There aren't going to be any tangibles. We're going to be able to talk about what many consider the giveaway, the state handing over so much to attract the company here. That's going to be a selling point, certainly, for the Democrats in this race.
The Walker campaign's worry is if it's July 1st, September 1st, and there's no foundation, no walls up, no real hiring going on, then Dems can say, hey, where's the promise?
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking about a Republican primary for the U.S. Senate. That's when Up Front continues.
Up Front with Mike Goucher, brought to you by the American Transmission Company and the Wisconsin Corn Growers Association.